We are back, crazy hair and all, ready to go and get today's money. Welcome to August 1st here, 2024 on the Policing Pips live stream, where we trade live every day here on Tradecaster and on YouTube. So welcome in. Trading the NASDAQ as always. We did have the Fed rate cut decision yesterday hold at the expected 5.5%. Right? The press conference afterwards, Jerome made some mentions of things looking on the up and up. I don't, really trust him to not say the perfect words every single time. So everything he said was calculated. I believe the markets kind of felt that September rate cut is still imminent. So just be mindful of that. Today we got ISM manufacturing at 9, so be mindful of that manufacturing number. And then tomorrow, non-farm pre-market. So we have run right up into the levels that I was talking about for my write-up, right? Pretty much exactly to the T. We are here right at that gap that I was interested in, right? We gapped up. This was the gap up from the contract roll. So once we got into the new contract that we're in now, that's front month of the NQU, the final fill of it, the flush down, all of that, I said that if we do catch a bounce from down here, rotate out of our downside channel, we would rotate up into 610, maybe possibly into 760. If we get over 760, then all-time highs come in at some point soon. And I'm not saying this week, but soon. If we reject this 610 and continue to rotate down, then down into the doldrums, maybe retesting down into 155, 200, 155 by the end of the week. We are going to open on the overnight low. We've been opening on overnight highs every day and taking that short. If we open on the overnight low, if we get a nice little push down in, even come into yesterday's levels a little bit, right? If we come down into not 490, 480, somewhere in that range, could be a nice rejection point. We could just bounce right off of it. We could never even run into it. It could just not come here and go. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to be trading 100K. We did request a payout from the 250K accounts. So we are going to, good morning, Jovi. How we doing? How we doing there, Deck? Always a great day to make some money. We're less than a minute away here. We're going to see what happens with the open. We are flat on Delta, a little bit negative here. We're going to roll into the lower band of VWAP. I'm going to be looking for, if we do fail this low, to rotate up. I requested my payouts from the 50Ks. The balance hasn't shown the reflection. So I don't want to trade it. I want to wait till they give me my, confirmation that it's done, and that I will go back to that 50K. So we are going to watch this, see what happens here on the open. We are seeing the S&Ps trying to push a little bit. Jofi has a question about Tipster and TradingView. I don't know what Tipster is, so it may not be able to answer this question, but let's see. I'm using Top 6X platform, and now I have delayed data for TradingView. Oh, Top Step. Yes, Top Step. I will get to that question in a short moment here. I want to see if this will flush the overnight low. NVIDIA is pushing downside. If we can get NVIDIA down to 115.97, catch a little bounce at the pre-market area where it bounced, we can maybe catch a little quick whippy action here on the overnight low. I want to see if this will go. I mean, realistically, this is a zone. So we are at a support zone right here. You have Top Step X. Yeah, I think you do if you have live data. Yeah. So if you were using Tradevate to get live data on TradingView, you're not going to have live data on TradingView. I pay for TradingView totally outside of the prop firms, so I get my data from the TradingView feeds. So I don't rely on anything other than what TradingView is completely separate. Whatever, yeah. So if you're connected to TradingView through Tradevate or something like that, then you're going to lose the data, because if you're on Top Step X, I'm guessing they're running the data feed straight from the CME. I don't know what, if it's, I think Tradevate uses its own data feed. Then there's our trader that is through Rhythmic for like quant and some of the other things. So it's, if you don't have a Rhythmic feed, then potentially it might not go there. Yeah, if you haven't had it, or if it was like a rebuild date or something and you no longer have Tradevate, then you're not going to have that data. My recommendation is to go and get just a TradingView membership or whatever, and just pay for the data, a couple $30 if it's worth it for you. I find it worth it. I wanted this to be deeper into that overnight low. We never got into it. We got to the bottom of this consolidation, however, which is useful, but we're not rushing. We have been green every single day here on stream. The whole entire month of July, we were green every day. Today, we are flipping over to the 100K to try to dig this one out of the hole. I really just haven't focused on this account, so I've been trying to kind of come into it secondary, and I'm chasing trades. I mean, realistically, the trades I've tried to trade on this 100K have been fantastic trades. I've just been too early on each of them. I usually wait for Black Friday for TradingView, because they do like crazy Black Friday deals, and whatever their membership is now, it's at least 50%. Maybe I think they do like 80% off at Black Friday. So I usually wait till Black Friday, and I pay for it that day, and then I don't know about how much the data is. I'll look up the data when I get a chance. S&P is relatively strong, and Q is pushing now up over the opening range high here, trying to hold that level. Still very negative on the delta. Not getting a huge pop. Not very big size on the books. See what happens if this is going to be confirmed or if this is going to be a nice push up into this area here for the short to push back down. We are 610 is a very interesting level, right? That's where the bottom end of that gap is. While we're kind of in between the range, I will go look for how much I pay for TradingView. Releasing pips. Profile. Account and billing. There we go. That's probably going to tell me. It didn't show me anything. Settings. Still pushing up a little bit. My current plan is the annual essential plan, Jofi, and I pay I think I paid less than that, but the next payment is scheduled for $165 for the whole year. And then I pay for data. My data subscription is $60-something for the year, which is nothing for data if it's for the entire year. No, I go right for my overnight levels. I literally use if it goes up to like 829, I'll put the overnight low right there at the 829. Yeah, basic live candlestick, and I have the live data for the CME group, CME, CBOT, COMEX, NYMEX, CME group total, E-minis for the actual data. So I got billed November 24th last year for 134.32 for the essential plan. I think that gives you the regular like equities on like, you know, volume and data. And then I add the futures market data, get real-time data. You kind of just got to go through it. I would wait, like I said, until around that time, like that Black Friday. They usually have great sales, August, September. I mean, if you don't want to wait that long, then they'll wait. But you will get a decent, if you just want to like pay monthly or whatever for now until you get that set up. But I pay for the data, so that's why I have it. Well, all I'm going to say is my futures data is live, but my equities data is slightly off. I think it's like a couple seconds off. It's slightly different, but not perfect. If you wanted to get a specific exchange data, then you would have to request it and pay for it. That's what it says. But my futures data is live. Yeah, either way, whichever works for you. All right, so we are pushing towards this overnight low. I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to just jump into it. I mean, NVIDIA is not quite pushing down through this level either. I want to see what Meta is doing since Meta had its earnings yesterday and did give us that pop up. Meta is returning back downside a little bit, running into support from pre-market. So that's interesting. That ran right into that. Yep, ES is at VWAP. That's a good support area for this. I would like this to get through that overnight low. You can see we bottom ticked it. That's not usually my A+ strategy. I would like to see it flush that level a little bit better. I want to see if there's a heaviness in the delta. You do see an aggressive buyer right there at the bottom. So that could have been the trade. That could have been right there, like immediately that tick through. It's just kind of up to you how you run your strategy around the levels. For me, especially, I'm a little bit more cautious, looking to make sure that these levels get broken. I'm playing failed breakouts. I'm not playing touches to levels. I do like the levels a lot of times for that touch retrace, but that's a very, very specific time. Right now is not that time yet because things are getting a little heavy in the other equities. The S&P is obviously pushing up into yesterday's high right here. That green line is the yesterday's high. We are, in fact, American there, Scott. Yes, sir. I'm waiting to see if any of my payouts are going to get confirm so I could use that 50K account. I requested the payouts last night. That was a nice little bounce, 1504.75 to the bottom tick to right where we're at now. You're up over 1,000 per contract if you did take that. I requested 2 separate accounts of payouts, 1,400 apiece. So I'm just waiting until they deduct it from the 50Ks so I can go back to trading them. And I'm going to dig out this 100K because, like I said, I've distracted myself. I've been super focused on those 50Ks, the copier ones. And then every time I jump into my 100K, I'm just a little early or a little late because I just lock out those other ones and try and jump into something a little bit too quick on this one. So I drew down a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. I will get it out of the hole. And then we'll be up on all the accounts, hopefully. Once I get a little bit of a rebill on one of the combines, I will look to get a max out the funding on all of these, on the all the 50Ks. Try to have 5 full accounts. Probably gonna go. I was gonna do 200Ks and 3 50Ks, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna stick with 4 50Ks, copy trade all those, and then work this 100K how I see fit. I want this to get down through that low. I can't be trading it up here. I could have gotten that long from once it rejected the overnight low. It is still technically part of the strategy there. I mean, we did catch the liquidity there. It bottom ticked that low, never broke it, and now we're rotating back to the high side. Could have easily caught that little bit of a move there and then rotated back to VWAP. We could also just kind of chop around here until 9 and wait for that number to be released. So either way, if we don't get through it, then I'm not going to take it. I would like it because NVIDIA is still trying to push through this key structure level here at 117.70. So I think that we do have further downside in NVIDIA, probably down to pre-market lows. If NVIDIA can get to pre-market lows, then this could linger, if it lingers stronger, but still comes down into that overnight low, then I can maybe take that bounce from NVIDIA's 115.97, 116 area and then take the bounce up and have that be the true bounce. This one right here, I didn't trust it, so I wasn't going to take it. Everything was pushing down heavy for that to bottom tick and rotate off. Obviously, there's a strong buyer there at 500, 504, 500. Somebody front ran that 500 buyer. 70% long on the tilt, starting to tilt up. Perfect move from overnight low, basically to VWAP, right? Like if you are going to take that strategy every single time, if you are going to use our levels, you could see how reactive they are. It's just a matter of how are you going to use them personally as far as, how your trading technique goes, right? Because currently you're sitting up 300 ticks, plus, and you're going to tag off on VWAP right here. That's a full on perfect move, mean reversion retracement play right there, $1,700 per contract. If you were quick on the draw and caught that bottom tick at 504, right? For me, it's difficult, right? It's hard to do that at that level for it to be, a true entry. I do like that 610 as the bottom end of the gap from the contract roll. Let's see what Meta's doing. Not that it's going to drag us around. It's kind of sitting in the middle. Apple reports today after market hours. They're selling off. Microsoft is still in that range between 419 and 422. It's kind of just creeping up. Still hasn't recovered that earnings sell-off, which goes up to 425. 425.80. 424.80 up to 425.15 for Microsoft. I definitely got the joke, Scotty. Definitely caught it. Just kind of talking in between the analyses. $119.40 for NVIDIA, approaching 19,610 right here, right now for the NASDAQ This is that kind of liquidity zone here. S&P is trying to come on to that overnight high here, break through that. If the S&P breaks through this overnight high, previous day high comes in, maybe you get a short. Excuse me. Maybe you get the short from the previous day high, but I think we're going to start to catch a bid today. This is probably right here the best where we're going to get for an entry. Excuse me. My cautious nature on it told me that we needed to flush it. My animal brain told me we need to buy this right here, right now. I have been doing a good job of being really patient, sticking to my plan, making my money, and doing the right thing. So I didn't want to be early, right? You also don't want to be late. So honestly, that was just, if you caught it, good for you. If you didn't catch it, I could see why you didn't catch it. I didn't take it because of that, just being that immediate bounce right off of it. Because easily this could have ticked back up into this liquidity right here, into that 20, and then sold right off through it. Then you're caught and you're trapped, right? You didn't get that true flush. I want to see if we can break through the previous day high. 434 you were in at. Test out the break even too quick. That does suck. 34. What was the thought behind 34? Just the break of this level here? The previous breakout point? Oh, 534. Way up there. No, yeah, you were right. 534 down here. Yeah, long right here. I actually just like organically moved it from 434 to 534 in my brain. That's a good entry. I mean, obviously, you can see that's the breakout point from that previous pre-market down here at like 4 o'clock. 4 a.m., that's a good area. It happens. Sometimes you get stopped out. There will be more opportunities in the market. I'm okay with you being stopped out at even if it's in this opening range. I mean, I did say that I think that once we bottom tick this, we'd probably rotate back to VWAP based on the way it's kind of pushing immediately. Just the delta kind of helped us out there. You can see how aggressive the buyers have been. Rotated right through this VWAP. If we could get up into that upper band, maybe you could fail that. Upper band could push us up. Let's see if the previous day high is going to confirm a breakout, or are we going to reject it? Seems like we're not going to get through any of our levels. Right now we're staying through it. If you get S&Ps to start rolling and we get a wick off of this high here, then maybe we could take this short down to VWAP, like a quick little hit, just as a pullback for even if the longs want to keep in control. Delta's acting negative. There's an aggressive seller trying to show its hand here. So let's see if it pushes up over that previous day high. If we're just going to wick it again, like just a quick little wick and then push, then we're not going to get it. Could be a breakout from the previous day high to overnight highs to catch up to the S&Ps as well. Trying to accept back into this gap area range, which does have consolidation up to 663. So 663 could be an interesting area. 663, 654 to 663 in that little zone. If I can get like a wick into there and a fail of that, then potentially that could be it. And I'm not trying to top tick it. I'm trying to just catch a failed break of our level and then a rotation back the other direction. There's a tick of it, and then get a full push. If S&P breaks highs, then I got to wait on this. See what the delta is telling me. Delta's strong. You can see how strong the buyers are right there. I'm not really looking to step in front of that right there, right that second. We did tick off on 54. 55. NVIDIA is strong. If we can get through maybe 30s, I mean, short it from there. You can see that high right there, 60s. Feels strong. 68% long. Starting to give a little bit of a wedge idea here. Can I get one more pop up to that previous day high? Give me that one more pop up. Get up over that wick maybe. If not, then this close below here probably rotates us back down, and I didn't catch that one either. Because S&P's is still holding that 55.96. Nope. You see that little speed up and then pop off. That little pop is going to get strong. You can see that in the tape. It's kind of weird that you can see it, but you can. This might start to rally right here from that bit of a pop. Where did they fill that? 32s. They filled that at 32s. 55s is now a bigger size. If it comes back down through here, I'll stop sell one, give it a shot to VWAP. It looks like it's going to be strong upside, but if it, like I said, into 64, 73% long. Delta's still showing strength. Aggressive buyers stepping in there. Short-term buyers. I mean, it would be way more convincing at the overnight high, but like I said, we're in that area where I would be interested in this kind of giving this up, failing it downside, and then going to VWAP, and then it maybe bounces, but we need S&Ps to fail as well. See if we can get this to rotate down a bit more. NVIDIA is trying to pull back from that 120. I'm going to give it a chance. Let it do its thing. Give it my normal $200 of risk and see if I can get some more out of it. That's why I come down a bit from that exact high, so we can get an actual true failure and not get wicked in, wicked out. Right. There we are. We're filled in. Let's see if the short plays from our previous day high. Failed to accept above the previous day high. There's that 1-to-1, so we're at even. Now let's see if we can get down closer to VWAP. If we get through this low here, I'll go a bit deeper into take profit. There we go. We got through the low. I don't want to get trapped and give back very much of anything on this. Really nice, clean move there. You never take any heat on it. Let it do its thing a little bit. See if it'll break through that low. There were buyers there at 32 before. We were kind of dancing around 32. So I'm going to put just above that 32 mark. If it wicks through 32 and pops, then we're going to get out. If not, we're going to flush all the way down like we just did. And now we're at that low. Let's see how far down we can get this to rotate. Talking straight through this thing, being very patient, waiting for our levels, not entering first, not entering, and then letting this thing hammer down on us. Let that sell-off come into play and see what happens here. Now let's see if it'll run or if it's going to retest. If it retests us, we're out, but we're going to take our money and go. I'm cool with that. You just secure your profits along the way. If we were copy trading this on our 50Ks, we're up, $700 on that one move, right? Very clean, easy to see that was coming in. Could it go further? Trail stopped out 20 plus points. Good job, Jofi. Well done. Short at 41. I mean, we caught that very clean, very easy. We're going to just be very happy that we caught as much of that as possible. Like I said, that 32 is like a reactive level. It seems like there's some orders going on there. This could be a trap, short trap to go long, but it is still a really good opportunity. This is what I love to see at our levels every single time. We're just doing this every single day here. I mean, come on. You're going to get this every single day. Take your money and go, baby. Come on. Take your money and go. You front run me a little bit, that's cool. If you fade me, that's cool. Right to VWAP, awesome. It moved. You could see how that trap, and now you're getting a really large size order on the fill. If it's going to be a true bid, it's going to run up. If not, this may start to melt off really heavy here. So if you're still holding, hold for a couple seconds longer. If you're going to trail above 20 maybe. If you're going to wait for this VWAP rejection, it seems like 605 was a good bit. Now you're getting caught, catching more bids up here. Larger size is coming in. So watch this to break through the previous day high and continue to rally on. I think this may go, if it breaks through previous day highs here, up to the overnight highs. You did get the rejection of the previous day high on the S&Ps. NVIDIA is rejecting 118.69 and trying to push back up. It's over 119 now. So really good. Good job, everybody. I see that most people caught that move. Charlie's green. Another 180 bucks on the day. Very good. Progressing towards passing that combine and working yourself to funded. Ray went red to green because he traded last night like he says he wasn't going to do, and he did it anyway, and now he's back in the green. So we're all having a good day here so far on the calls. I'm just trying to check, make sure I'm not missing anything. There's that push right up to the previous day high. Is this going to give us another failure, or is this going to be a true breakout? There was a lot of size that filled right in this zone here. Really, like on the time of sales, I saw 10s, 20s, 30s, probably a really big size buyer from 605 up to 610. They were filling. So that's pushing this up. Do they stay here? Do they remain here? Is there more size on the book above to pull us up? I don't know. I don't see it perfectly right now. Let's see, 5, 25. So they're flashing like 20s and 20s, 30s up overhead, and down below, same deal, 20s and 30s. So potentially just an algo drag, seeing if it can get it to go in either direction. But in this white arrow here is where we saw a lot of that liquidity being grabbed. So watch for this to push and pump from here. I mentioned that. I said, I don't think that this is going to be a real full rotation on the previous day high. I just think you're going to get a really reactive move from it for the pullback, for the longs. So if you are interested in those, maybe you look for the long side. I'm not going to be playing the long side, but because I am a failed breakout trader, I like failed breakouts. It's easier for me to see coming, right? I was able to see this one coming pretty clearly. This one right here, I was talking through it. I said, if you are trailing, be mindful that it's either dragging it to VWAP to run it down, or it's coming here to grab a bunch of orders to rip it back upside. So just note that for yourself on your chart somewhere, you can kind of see it. Here you go, Scott. I'm going to post the TradeCaster link in the YouTube. If you're over on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, all that stuff. I don't have an affiliate link currently. I got to get one from Deck. I got to hit them up. And then when you sign up, no, you can sign up right now. And then when you actually go to pay for it, I'll give you guys the code and you can enter it and use your thing. I think that's when the affiliate makes sense. I don't really care. I'm not trying to crush you guys and do it all that way. But when I do have to go paid or anything like that, I'll send you guys all that affiliate link stuff, and you guys can sign up and show the love to the Policing Pips for helping you guys get past, helping you guys make money. That's all I want to do. Good job, Jofi. Well done on the trade. As always, don't do dumb shit. Yes, sir. Don't do dumb shit and you'll be just fine. Right here. Don't do dumb shit t-shirt. Get it in the link, in the chat, in the bio, pinned to the top of YouTube if you want it. In the top of the chat. You can sign up, like I said, sign up for the lobby if you are in the YouTube. Go on over to TradeCaster. It's a great community. You'll get a lot of benefit out of that 7-day free trial. I will be free for the time being. I'm waiting for my little payout to tell me that it's coming. Oh, welcome to the chat there, Scotty boy. You're in. Now I don't have to bounce this back and forth as much. I will bounce back and forth. So I get see, this is going to be where the break seems to be more confirmed, right? You're getting S&P right at that overnight high. Could break through it now. If S&Ps can break through it, then maybe this goes. If not, if S&P starts to push heavy and maybe NVIDIA starts to roll over a little bit, then the failure of this level could make that be another clean move to the downside, trying to accept into yesterday's range, but I don't think so. I think this accumulation that I saw coming in right here, right in that area right there, is where that bigger accumulation came, and I think that once we crack this previous day high, that rally up into the overnight high level right there is pretty clean, probably for that bit of move. If you wanted to catch that, you could have. I'm not taking the long, the breakout, but I do think that that is a justifiable reason to go long, right? There's reasons to go long. There's reasons to be short. And for me, I need a real good reason to want to enter in that thought right there of taking the breakout of the previous day high based on the accumulation that occurred here made some sense. If it fails, though, I am a failed breakout trader, so it is maybe you just weren't scrolled all the way to the bottom there. So let's see if this fails now. I think we can maybe get another nugget out of it. I don't want to just take it, though, because I think it's a trap. I want to see it close here. $64% long, isn't too heavy long. Delta, it's turning around a little bit, but it's still in that upper end. I'm not looking to take this short right here, right now. I think maybe it could roll over, but in theory, I think this might be just a trap to get us long. 32s before. That 32 level right there was where I saw that really big size come on the books. So if it cracks through that, then maybe it'll continue to go. But I think maybe there's some trapping going on at that level. Let me see if there's any larger size kind of showing its hand. You don't see anything on the book. Lots of 2s and 3s, 1s and 2s sitting on that order book. Nothing huge below. I think, like I said, that 32 level, 36 down to 32, I saw a lot of big orders there before. Right now, they're not sitting there on the book. So maybe they got filled and they were satiated, and now they're willing to just kind of hold. There is a decent size. There's a 30 lot at 32, but it flashes and goes. So it looks like it's kind of holding right now. See that hold of that previous day? This is why I don't take that short that time through, because I saw that size and it kind of kept me from doing it. If it goes now, so be it, right? I'm already up. I'm good. I know I'm kind of looking for that next A+ type deal. We could see this push up a little bit more before wanting to fail, but I think we do have some support there. NVIDIA is holding, right at that 119. If it can give up 118.70 and start to sell off through 118.70, then this could continue to the downside. But I think NVIDIA is still propped up from that Microsoft earnings. Microsoft is pumping up right into resistance at 427.15. Meta had earnings and is now, got that PMI number that just popped at, and what is the number? The number is 46.8, and they were forecasting 48.2, so it was less than expected. So could lead to some selling. So that selling could come in, which is fine. I might, I don't take anything 5 minutes to an hourly close anyway. So good on me for recognizing that, at least for a couple seconds. Where do you see that size on the level 2s? You can see it in the time and sales. The time and sales will go away. So if you are watching the time and sales and you start to see this bigger size coming in, 14s, 10s, these are decent size, but once you start seeing it flood in the way it is right now, that's where you start. I have my filter set to 10, so anything bigger than 10 lot. Some of these could be filling smaller sizes as well on top of these larger sizes and getting filled, as smaller size. And then on my level 2s here, I could see bigger size flashing. I don't have a very large depth of market in my level 2 here, but on this chart here is where I see a lot of my size. So I'll be watching for size on this. And what you'll see is something like this red line here. You can see that there's a 58 lot sitting at 585. It comes and goes. This one's just sitting there at 585 looking to get drawn in, and it just popped up higher. So I see it moving, 55 lot up at 600, right? So it moves around a bit. 600, it's sitting there at 600. See if it gets filled, see if it draws price to it. The bigger the dot, the bigger the fill on the actual chart there. But this is where I see all of it, Carlos. This is where I get most of my data about how many contracts are sitting here. It looks like it's moving very fast, and it is. You can see when this starts to speed up, when it slows down a lot. So it's very helpful in some of my decision making, and it's just a layer of confluence, right? I say confluence equals confidence. Confluence equals confidence. Much of what I like to see is on those time and sales, though, is happening in that area, right? If I see it happening in that area and there's just loads of fills right there. Obviously at VWAP, there's going to be a ton of fills. That's where most institutions want to be filled at or around VWAP. They usually get judged based on distance to VWAP on their price. So for me, like I said, just trying to execute right there. If I was on my 50Ks, I'd be locking out this 357. I'm not on my 50Ks. We've taken no trades over here because I requested a payout on these two accounts. Just kind of going through a review here. Requested a payout from the 50Ks, but we are still another straight today green here in the funded accounts. Anything that I'm talking about from basically from 8:30 till 9:30. I mean, really 100% the last few weeks. Now rolling into August, starting August off strong with a nice call out on the amount this was going to move, how much we were going to do, the bottom tick here, the rotation. I wanted this to get deeper. If we could have got this a little deeper, then we could have had a bit of a banger on and made quite a bit on it. Probably would have been trailed out at VWAP, which is fine. I'm cool with that too. But to take this short here was definitely a nice little play. Could be looking for it again, depending on how some of these other names are reacting, but I'm not quite ready for it myself. S&Ps, I want to see if they'll get down there. This could just end up chopping around here. I need to see that those buyers give up. I don't like to see them there. And for the most part, we're just too tight to VWAP at this point. I mean, we were a little bit extended before, and we were able to pull it back in. So I got into it and was able to get that quick. Just the timing of it was better there. For me, all right, you're locked out. How much? Up or down? Better be up. 796 on the XFA. Hell yeah. Welcome to the points party. So you are copy trading from XFA to Combine. Nice. I like it. I like that it's working for you. It didn't work for me. Maybe because I had different sizes on each. I think when you have... I don't know what I have no idea. Maybe because it was a fresh one or the size of the drawdown, maybe. Who knows what it is, but sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Maybe it was just a fix that they made, and I haven't tried it since they made the fix. $800 in 35 minutes. We might be looking for new dispatchers soon. Look at that. Scrooge, another green straight day, baby. Getting in the habit of making that 200, 300, 400 and locking out Scrooge, you're going to find yourself passing this account way faster that way. It's going to feel like a grind, right? But once you get into there and you start doing it day in and day out, you're going to realize that compounds way quicker than you think it does. That number plus the failed breakout again gave you another return to VWAP. Like hammer it 3 times, third time's the charm through VWAP. Nvidia is getting down into the dirty 117 number. 117.70 is that breakdown point. Let's see if it'll flush the overnight low, trap some shorts, and then get long. That would be really nice because that would really indicate a failed breakdown. This is just acceptance still within yesterday's range. We did reject, like this is what I'm talking about. If you look at my longer term chart here, this level here, this big liquidity zone is not necessarily that it's important because there was a ton of orders executed here. It's important because it was the gap to the new contract. And then now we've come back to that area of, are we going to make this new contract back to all-time highs, or are we going to just stay within a lot of that previous contract? And are we comfortable in that area where that all-time high levels kind of were? We were very extended. Anything over this bar here, this red bar, was slightly, not slightly, way extended. And everything underneath has become a lot more clean. The price action has been a lot better down here. I think realistically, price really wants to stay below this level. If it does, in fact, get over 760, I think we do start to push into all-time highs. But like I said, anything under that 610, middle of that range, 19,700 even, you're really, in this area, you kind of want to just rotate in and out and find your orders, find your execution. There wasn't a ton of orders between, 700 and 400. So yesterday and today is kind of cleaning up a lot of that. There's a lot more execution going on here that there wasn't in the past. No regrets, not even one letter. Locked out, Carlos. Let's go, baby. How much you make on the day, Carlos? Another beautiful day here in Tradecaster. The name of that character in that movie, I don't remember names. I'm bad at names. I'm good at faces. I'm good at quotes. I'm good at, all that. But just don't think I'll remember his name. I should just guess Scotty just because you were the one that was saying it. Hell yeah, Scott. I love it. Locking out. If you could lock out like that every single day, just take a couple hits, take your base hit, move on. Take your base hit, move on. Catch your money and go, baby. Lock out, move on. Lock out, move on. The other, what's that? That other combine. So now you're up to 104 ish, just over 104. Anytime there, Carlos. Absolutely. I'm very happy when people are making money, collecting their dues from doing their process, sticking to their strategy, being hard nosed on allowing this to play out the way it should. 103.796. Good. Take it one step at a time. Don't go crazy with it, right? We learned our lesson yesterday with needing to make X number of dollars and doing dumb shit to get there. So we're going to go revert back to the don't do dumb shit t-shirt to remind yourself that you should never do dumb shit. Scott, your mug should come today, or potentially your coffee should be en route today. It should be delivered. XFAs to be protected at all costs. Absolutely. Like I said, I'm just going to try and dig this 100K. I would die for my XFA. Hell yes. Everybody out here making good money. If you're on the YouTube, hit the like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you're on YouTube, I'd share the link to tradecaster.com. My stream is free over on Tradecaster. Don't be afraid to come on over when I have to go paid. And I can do this a little more full time. Then I'll give you the affiliate link and you'll be able to sign up under my code. I don't have it right now. I didn't set it up because my room isn't paid and I don't really have a ton of reasons to do so. I will get it when I do get it. I'll start posting it out there so you'll have it. It'll just be my name at Placey Pips normally. So I'll let you guys know when it's active so I could actually do this more full time and have a more consistent deal going on. But I think we do provide great value every single day here. So don't be afraid to join us in the fun. This rejection here is beautiful. 3 times the charm, triple top type action at a previous day high. This last rejection here could have been a really nice entry. I wasn't totally convinced, but the way NVIDIA has been rolling over, we're kind of running into support right now. But I do believe that NVIDIA could get down, like I said, down to that 115.97, that pre-market low. If that's the case, if NVIDIA gets to the pre-market low and we get into here, right, into our overnight low, and then you can see the S&P also catch up, get to that area. That 5560 is very important to the area. I want to get rid of that white line because it's more just a visual. That 5560 area in the S&P is everything kind of lining up for a failed breakdown, rotate the other way. We could stay in this sideways, choppy, action, and that's where we would look for it. We can capitalize on each side, bottom, top, until it decides to make its decision and go the other way. And we do a really good job of avoiding getting trapped into these other directions and blowing out accounts and doing stupid shit. Don't do dumb shit by using our stops, limiting our risk to those lows, and doing a good job of, maybe we catch that one little piece right here or right here or right here and you catch more of it, right? Like if you kind of do those things, you avoid trapping yourselves by just limiting in at your previous day high, right? You're doing a good job of taking your risks, limiting it, finding a reason for the price to be moving in your direction, being right pretty quickly. You're trading smaller size. You should have no problem getting fills. If you get slippage, it's okay. When that comes, you'll understand it. It is what it is. You avoid a lot of the slippage by avoiding some of the news, that 5 minutes to the hourly close. A lot of what I do is based on live accounts, live data, all that stuff that kind of just keeps me in a good rhythm. I'm waiting for this payout to tell me that it's coming so I can comfortably trade those 50Ks, but we'll probably skip today on the 50Ks, obviously, because we've already missed the A+ trades early on, and now we're kind of in more of a the ability to, do some other stuff. So we'll see. I'm checking the Top Step payout board to see if my name is on there at all. Malcolm, Jason, Victor, Fraser, Harker, Brandon, Jill, Amber, Garrett, Y. No, not yet. See, I don't know how backed up they are, but they got a ton of payouts in the works. Sorry for the quietness. I'm just looking to see of some of the information here. You can see it here. Payout request confirmation. I will show it to you quickly so you can see it times 2. This is one account. There's that one payout request, 1,400. Here's my account number if you care to see it. If you really care, you can. I don't know what you could do with a Top Step account number, but hey, that's what it is. We requested this times 2. So we requested that 2,800 yesterday for the month of July. We took that payout. There's way more to be had. They only allow you to take out 50% of your account at a time. I'm not looking to take out more than that. I took everything down to $2,000, just around that $2,000 mark. Keep that buffer. And then I'm going to look to build it back up this month. Right now, we're going to work on this 100K to try and get it back to even, see if we can catch another opportunity at the overnight low, see if we can get some manipulation down there. That'd be really great. For me, like I said, today is a nice, you can see we're in these, there's no change to the balances there. I'm going to go to the dashboard. You see up to the right, we were just shy of 4K, 3,400 a piece on both of those accounts. Trying to see if I can get that. Hell yeah. Always bring politics into the chat. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. No adjustments made yet, so we're just waiting to see when that adjustment happens so we can trade those accounts. I want to see S&Ps get into that yellow line, that 55, 60 area, and that could drag us down into the opening range. Where is the opening range here in the S&Ps? I forgot to put it out there for you guys. My bad. Where's my box? There we are. 830. There we go. Below the opening range here in the S&Ps, above the opening range in the NQ. It feels good to make money. It'll feel better when it hits your bank account. Absolutely, it will. You just got to take it day by day. Don't get greedy. Allow it to just do its thing. Make your trades. Do your good executions. And then it'll just stack up over time. It'll start to feel boring. When it starts to feel boring, that's when it's a good thing. You're going to start continuously doing the same thing over and over and over again. And good money should be boring, right? Good trading should be boring. You don't want to be like having these crazy emotional mood swings. It's going to keep you, in a bad rhythm, right? You want to just be, it's cool to feel good. Definitely cool to feel good. But until you can actually, there's some price speeding up right now. Something's reactive right here at this key level. Something hit the news or something. Let me see. We are hitting off the top of a opening range. I don't know what's going on. Give me a second. Financial Juice, where you at? Oh, really great. There we go. Okay, Fed swaps fully priced in 3 interest rate cuts by the end of the year. That was at 907. That's not what we got. ISM numbers. Nothing on the news feed here. I think it's just reacting to that price point. You could see how it speeds up around levels. You could see that there is some size here. Maybe there's a decision to be made. I did want NVIDIA to be lower before making a decision, because if we do flush this level, if we flush this overnight low, NVIDIA could follow through and then create more selling, like selling, making more selling. And we can get down to like 398, 400-ish, probably the bottom of 400. You know, previous day lows could come into play. I don't expect that to happen. What was the 1 o'clock number? 1 o'clock, 1300 pre-Fed release. We could go anchored VWAP right there from the Fed number and see what happens from that number. See where that VWAP is. So that's what that reactive number is. It's okay to wish you could still trade. It's cool to feel that, like, I wish I could still be trading today. But sometimes you just can't do that. Sometimes you got to enjoy the money you made and walk away, go to sleep. Do whatever it is else that you want to be doing. If you want to make this boring, make this part of your thing. If you want to do it again and you still want to trade, get another combine, start building a new combine, start building on it. That's kind of what my thought is on it. If you want to trade just to trade, do it in a combine environment. Do it where you can, build some equity in those combines. Maybe test out some new strategies. See what you can do that's going to make you a little more successful. Maybe work on longer holds, work on different things, but do that in a combine. Do that in the practice accounts. I say the combine because there's skin in the game. You do it in a practice account, you're just going to click the button, and you're not going to have the same discipline that you would, that if you could pass that combine, you're going to make money on it, right? So let's see. I have NVIDIA dancing around this 117.70 level, and it's trying to flush the lows. If NVIDIA flushes the lows, then we can get deeper into this low, right? Deeper into these levels. I did mention that 480 could be a good level. So I'm going to just put that line there just for visualization. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's just a kind of an arbitrary breakout point where I want to see price get to around and then start to turn around and fail and break back to the upside. I do think bulls want to be in control, but like I mentioned, I do also believe that being within this area, that zone where it's a really good area for another short opportunity, breakdown, retest, come back into where price wants to be, back below that 400, that's also realistic. We're getting the data points. People are still pricing in that rate cut or more than one rate cut. So potentially could get into this range here and start to bounce, but that's, not there yet. Let's see what happens through this overnight low. We're coming into it on both the S&P and the NQ at the same time, right? This is what happens here. You wait for it, speeds up, gets into it, bottom tick. Does this time that it tick it, does it go right through, or are we going to just bottom tick it again and rotate off it, and then I can't take it? So we'll see if we can get it, a nice rotation off of it. I want to see more out of NVIDIA. Let's see more out of NVIDIA. You don't have to worry about it, but it's good to note, right? See how our overnight levels react, see how the previous day levels react, understanding why I don't take it on certain points and when I do take it at certain points, maybe build that dynamic for yourself as well. I want to see S&P do something along the same lines, that break of that support level and run into 5555-ish and not go much deeper than that, because if it does, it gets a little bit heavy. NVIDIA, my problem here is NVIDIA is not down at that level that I want to see it at. I want to see NVIDIA down here at that white line, or even a little higher, maybe up into that 116. So it's approaching it, but it's not ready to go yet to the upside. With NVIDIA getting heavy, that's going to drag this down, and you can see why I didn't take that bottom tick. That's kind of what I'm looking to avoid, is this. And like I said, that green line is more of just an arbitrary number. Usually I make those arbitrary ones white just so you can see them. They're visible. If we do rotate back up over this like immediately, then I can say that we did have a failed breakout. 70% short is interesting. Right. You would have got wrecked because you wouldn't have been patient. You got to wait for that patience. Let that play out. 501. Find the confluence. Confluence equals confidence. Allow your trades to have good reasoning behind them. The whole thing here is we pushed up down into the overnight low. We rejected it to the tick. We popped up off of it. What are they thinking? How is this working? We never made it to the previous day high. To the overnight high, which is telling us that we broke through the previous day high a couple times. We grabbed some liquidity, failed to break it once, twice, 3 times. We're staying within yesterday's range. Yesterday's range took us all the way down to like 447 was point of control for most of the day, right? This area here, the 447 level, you can see how much congestion is around it. Price is going to want to go back where it was executed the most. So down into that 440s, 449, like I said, 444, 447. Into those 440s could be an area where it wants to be. And if somebody's front running that area, then you may see that bounce from there and start to rotate the other way. And that's what I'm looking to see. If this is just a deep pullback and if NVIDIA is going to catch a bid from here in that liquidity zone, then I would like to wait for that rotation back the other way to catch my move from that area as opposed to just hammering that short or hammering the long right there on the tick. Yeah, I'm going to let it go. If it goes, I'll take it. If it doesn't, then it's, that was a good area. Like I said, I drew that line arbitrarily, but there's reasoning behind it. You can see that there was reasoning behind it. See if it'll break retest or if that's just going to wick us in, wick us out. Yeah, so we're flat on that. You can see how much that wicked us right in, right out. But the setup is still valid, so I'm going to enter it if I can get above it here and hold. There we go. Oh, we got ticked out again on that. That's ridiculous. So we're going to wait a second, see if it'll turn the other way. NVIDIA is trying to go. I want to see where this candle closes. Could be another push down, and then we get our setup back through it one more time, but I like the way that worked. Gave back that little win, but we're going to go ahead and do our best here to take that long through that level and be safe below that wick, hopefully. Nope. Should have waited for that close, like I said. That's just me overdoing that one. So we're going to wait one more time. Wait one more time for it to come into that 79. I'm going to wait for NVIDIA to get down a little bit deeper to maybe that 115, and then we'll go from there. Trying to play that level a little bit too much that time. They're watching my stream. They're watching it. The watchers. Whoever they are, yes. I'm cool with letting this thing do its little dance, stop me out here and there. I do have the ability to get locked out on this attempt through it if it wants to, but S&P's is rejecting that level, and so is NVIDIA. So I want to see this go like it did before. We're holding that VWAP, that lower band of VWAP, so hopefully we can get a squeeze on this push, or we're going to get stopped out and locked out. Either way, we're going to be out and done. This S&P, this freaking guy doesn't want to go. There we go. Push, push, push. Box, box. Get up over that purple box. It's going to stop me out. We're going to be out for the day. We're down 5 again. Gave ourselves back. That's all right. It's going to go right now after I lock myself out on my $500 loss limit on there. All good in the hood. Like I said, I'm still trying to build out of this 100K. With the 50Ks, probably would have just locked myself out after that first W. This is going to now melt, hopefully, and now I'll be okay with that $500 loss, but we're okay with it. 529, it slipped a little. overall, like I said, we were waiting for this. Maybe we probably want to get this down one more time before it pops up. S&Ps was holding that level. You can see how much more S&Ps hold levels than the NQ does, right? It'll sit right on top of it, sit right on top of it, sit right on top of it, and then go. That's the difference between NQ and S&Ps, a little bit different. Good to see everybody else did a good job of being green and letting it go. I just kind of played with the level a little too much. Letting it do its thing would have been nicer on that first trade, right? Like a little bit deeper on that width, but you're still going to get stopped out on it, right? So wait for that next touch of this white line and then go. It's just very heavy right now. NVIDIA did turn. That's why I was very considering that level as worth taking the shot at it. I'm not going to trade anymore today. I got locked out of that. These are still showing full balances, so we are not. Yeah, I'm willing to take it if it's setting up, right? It's showing the setup. It's showing the strength. I'm willing to execute it. Unfortunately, with this 100K, I've kind of built myself into a little bit of a habit of taking a little bit more losers on it, but I'm okay with that. Like I said, that first trade was the one that we really wanted to take. Come on, show my payout one time so I can have it. So this will be the first losing day on stream here for you guys. We started out good. We called out a really nice trade there. Like I said, if I was being a little bit less risky on this account, probably lock it out after that trade right there. We took this one right here, the short there. Could have took this rejection as well. We just did not take that second one. That's the real move. This one, we never got the flush, so we did not take it. So we talked about why we didn't take that one. And this one, we tried to play the rejection, which we should have seen the heaviness coming and waited a little bit longer, but I wasn't going to try and miss it. Probably could have played that 80 level a lot better, but that wasn't our level. We tried to stick to our levels. Unfortunately, you lose sometimes. Where's the payouts? That's frustrating sometimes. Sometimes you get frustrated on it, and it happens. Cool. Well, personal lockout limit hit. Now we're going to hit this sweep of the low, and then it's going to rotate out, and that's where that break of the overnight low would be a little more convincing. So if I was waited a little longer, waited for my NVIDIA to hit off on that level like I talked about, it's that confluence equal confidence, right? That adding to your waiting to being patient. Let this thing hit off on this level right here. I mean, obviously there's congestion here. There could have been reaction. Obviously there was. That's why I took it. I took that reaction off that level. But if we wait a little bit, oh, sorry, I'm not even on that chart. I'm on the wrong chart. Oh no, I'm on it. Thank you, babe. Yeah, I lock myself out when I'm into that area anyway. It's fine. Like I said, I'm taking these chip shot losses on this. I could have been a lot better off just locking out, but that's what happens. You can see what's happening now with the NVIDIA selling right into that key point. Could get deeper, could get into the lows, but I think that's a reactive level for sure. Probably could get into the 115.70s, but I think we could react right here, and that will be either the flush point for the NQ or the rotation point for NVIDIA. So we'll see what happens if this is going to now start to rotate the other way. We took the short once, could have took it 3 times and been a lot happier than what we did down here at this overnight level. But we waited for our levels. We stuck to our plan. We took the trade when it set up. Obviously, it looks like it sets up here once, twice, and then the third time we get stopped out. Like, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you take a shower. Obviously, the quote is, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains. But to me, it's just go and take a shower. Unfortunately, so you can see the flush. It broke through that level. Now you're starting to get a little bit of a curl on it. Delete that. Where's my trash bin? There it is. Cool. There we go. You can see NVIDIA rotating. I feel like this 100K account is a slightly cursed account. Maybe I didn't treat it right. I didn't get myself into a good rhythm on it. And once you start doing silly things, it kind of rotates out. So I do work these 50Ks a lot tighter. I do them, like I said, if I would have took that trade there times 2, it's a lockout day for me pretty quickly, right? I'm locked out right around 840, 850. Yeah, that's how you lose that account for sure. I'm starting to see the curl on NVIDIA right there. You can see the curl in NVIDIA starting to rotate back up. If you get this price to start pushing up higher, pushing back in, gets back above 116.50, pushes above this candle right here at 116.71-ish, and you squeeze through that and push up, that could give you that start to get us back over the overnight low, through that overnight low and back up. That's the idea there. I want to see if maybe they'll send me my email saying that they're processing it. Waiting till I have a billing date of the 6th, I think. So NVIDIA is curling straight through that level. So really nice reactive point. That's what I should have been waiting for right there. Oh, right there. Should have been waiting for that level there. You can see how nicely it's moving. We're getting this. Oops, this is the wrong chart. This is the one that I'm talking about. You can see NVIDIA rolling right through here, 115.97, 116. If it can hold this and start to rotate back up, that's what's going to get you back up in the NQ and the S&Ps. That's going to rotate us back through this level. If NVIDIA just continues to sell off, then that's where it would have been. So I'm glad you locked out. Learn that lockout button. It's super helpful, right? Because you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to, or if you did it twice, if you hit it up here and you caught the move of the day for the most part for us, that's it. You're done, right? You don't want to be messing around with these levels later on. Yeah, you could have made more on your short, but at the end of the day, like you're good with everything. You have a plan. You set your plan in place. You react to it. Do what you need to do, and go from it. Previous day high is green. Yep, the previous day high is the green line right there. Waiting for those combines to come back. I'm not buying a new one until those reset. Those are one of them is a $19 combine, so I'm not going to do the reset. I'm just fine with my 3 accounts. This one's just taking a beat down because I didn't lock myself out and I learned my lesson. We can see this now pushing deeper into that low, looking to go even into previous day lows. Maybe you get a full rotation from previous day high to previous day low. Nice clean move. Like I mentioned, that 400 level, you can see right here, that yellow dash line, pretty reactive. I did say that it's like 398, 400, probably down into 377-ish. If it gets through that 377, then I'd say that previous day low comes into play, which is this orange line right here, that 310. Yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you lock yourself out on the 100K. Early, we were up, went red to green, green to red, to green to red. Trying to play our overnight low, breakdown, failed break, really strong push up into it, kind of very trappy, definitely very trappy. Could see this break and then rotate back up. This here. So if you want to set up your trading view, honestly, these are just historic lines that I draw, and then a lot of times I just take them off. I did code out my strategy, and I haven't adjusted it since. I haven't worked on it as much as I would like to. I want to get my levels to be more precise. Obviously, the blue and the orange line are overnight. Not obviously, but blue and orange is previous day session. Orange is previous day low. Blue is previous day high. Red is overnight high and green is overnight low. You can see the overnight low did not populate correctly because it stops at midnight. We were talking about that yesterday. It's close to it. I guess it was pretty close, but not close enough. It's got to get down into this area here. Down into this low here. It didn't populate into that. We need to adjust that, but once that adjusts and I can get these overnight levels to be more precise, then we're good to go to share it with everybody. I didn't want to share it until it works, but any of these dotted lines, I've drawn these up as price kind of comes into them. When I find that they're reactive, I use them more, the 30-minute charts to develop these levels, hourly, 30 minutes. Find where there's intraday reaction, and then I just kind of work off of those. I will start to kind of run through how I do this and then go from there. We did not... Alrighty. So this is the definition of kind of what I would call, I wouldn't call it doing dumb shit because it was still sticking to the strategy, but the reason that lockout worked so well, right? Scott says that he would have got burnt on if he would have kept going, right? I ended up taking a little bit more than I would have liked, right? Being up 3 and change, right? The trade that we took there was 360. So being up just shy of 360 and then just giving it all back on, 4 attempts through this level, right, where it looks like it's going to go and it doesn't go, it kind of gives you up. Once you have established your pretty much you're good to go on the day, I got a little greedy, and that's what kind of led me to not locking out, right? I'm trying to build this 100K back, stay on stream, execute trades for you while we're here. So a little bit of probably just could have locked out, been done for the day. I doing my stream, I kind of stick around, do a little bit more, but it is all good in the hood. You change your daily loss limit from 2K to 1K now that you have an XFA. Absolutely. Yeah, I changed mine to 500 no matter the size, and then I'm going to, if I have a lot bigger of a buffer, then I'll start to maybe expand it a little bit. But for the most part, like to get to that buffer, obviously, I have established that as that $500 loss limit shouldn't get touched if I don't do dumb shit, right? Or if I don't get to that point, right? You can see here, daily loss limit 500 across all these accounts. We're still just waiting for that buffer to be adjusted to see if I get my payout request approved. It should get approved. I've never had an issue with it. Yeah, that's really fine. I mean, that's what mine is more like if I take 2 full losers back to back, like I just did, I probably shouldn't be executing anyway after that, which is good, right? So most of the time I don't take a full loser. I usually take slightly smaller loser. Goddamn. This guy Brian just requested, or his payout just is working for 34 grand. So that's possible for you. You can see this is what Top Step has on their Discord. They have all of the payouts that they're working on. So this is all the payouts that Top Step is working on. You could see I locked out at down $500 because I tried to execute at the overnight lows and got hit a couple times. This 100K account is cursed, maybe because I disrespected it early on. I'm cool with being right quick and wrong fast with that. So if you are going to take your trades where you're like moving quick, getting the even, doing all that stuff, I would go ahead and keep doing that. It's definitely kept me in the game long term. And like I said, this 100K account I've just kind of disrespected. I am going to start working on these when I get them back. This is going to get rebuild soon, and then I will get the other one up and going, and we'll start executing some trades on those. Let's see what we got here. We'll go with that. Nothing new on the news front. Still away from our levels. If you want to build up the buffer and you've set your personal daily loss limit to at least just that 1,000 instead of the 2, that's a good step in the right direction. Really limit those losers. Try your best to find just A+ setups. Try and find that location where you're going to make a really good decision instead of actually just hammering into stuff middle of range, right? Avoid the middle of the range and you'll be just fine. Yeah, that's all it's going to be. Just take it, move on, take it, move on. Like I said, this was our month. And if we would have just took this on a 50K, we would have been pretty happy, right? All of last month, we took just base hit, and we're still able to take out $2,800 on the payout, and we're still leaving ourselves with $2,000 buffer on each account. So, that's the power of just taking those small base hits and then allowing that growth to happen organically, day in and day out, just consistently, right? Today we could have been up 500, 396 or 356, whatever it was, on these two accounts if I would have executed on them. But I'm not going to execute on these accounts on the 50Ks until that payout request is adjusted, because I don't want to have any nefarious behavior going on where they say, oh, you don't get your payout because maybe you took a drawdown or something like that. Like, I didn't expect to lose today, which I really wouldn't have. I would have been just fine. We've seen the market really well, but we did not execute on these, right? So we're not going to have any point where they say I'm going to add to my journal here just to say no trades on these accounts until payout is approved. Journal saved. So now we have that just in our journal here to just notate, okay, why didn't I take a trade here on the 1st or the 2nd or whatever? If the payout gets approved today, where they say, okay, your account size gets adjusted. I just don't want them to be like, oh, you didn't have enough money in the account. Let's say we did draw down 500. Technically, we would not have enough. Well, we would still have enough in the account if we drew down $500 on the day. But I'm not looking to take that risk where they say, okay, you didn't, have that buffer in there enough to take that money. So once that money is pulled out and they readjust the buffer, that means they approved your payout. You can now continue to trade and be, fine with that, right? So we're still, our stats are still clean. We haven't really done much. We haven't done anything on this. And then if we would have taken that trade today, pushed ourselves pretty much right up over or right around that 4,000. Yeah, if somebody held from that top, that would have been fantastic, right? Our levels work, our setups work. Everything that we do here is pretty clean, like not overly complicated. If you have the ability to start leveraging into multiple contracts, it's easier to catch something like this. It's easier to catch this on multiple contracts than it is to trail out a single contract, right? If you have certain ideas of kind of like where you have and how could you anticipate this entire move? You really can't. So you can't say, I'm going to do this. I missed out on X, Y, and Z profits, right? If your goal is to mean revert back to VWAP and then whatever comes of it from it is fine, right? If you are taking multiple contracts, if you're in that kind of business where you're loading in and then taking out pieces, keeping a whole, and then somehow you get yourself trailed out, the rotation from previous day high to overnight low makes sense, right? Full rotation to previous day low on good meta earnings, the rate cut kind of talks, everything about it was kind of positive, which kind of leads you to believe that this is purely a technical move off of my key zone that I was talking about, right? This is what I was talking about in the write-up. This is what I talked about today early. I said, if you reject below that 610-ish area, that 610 right there, if you can't hold the 610, you're going to rotate down into these areas where there's more, interest in trading. And that's just that's it. I'm okay with how we've kind of talked through this. Oh, did I not put that on the right journal? No. I got to see. Nope, I did not. I've been journaling on this. No trades on these accounts until payout is confirmed. Save the journal. That's usually why I like to take my payout idea on a Friday as well, because of that. They usually are able to process it and do everything. I mean, not that the weekend is going to help process it, but it'll give a few days of this to be adjusted, and then you can trade the next trading day. But I'm okay with taking the payout where I did. See if this previous day low is reactive. S&P's is trying to get below and accept. I think we can push into there. If it keeps going down, it keeps going down. That's your next area of interest. And once it gets into this no man's land, there's nothing to execute. Obviously, there's still not much to execute there anyway. The 400 level makes sense. We didn't quite make it to the low. You flushed through that first, that next pullback area low here where there was some interest. Right here, there's some interest there. Flushed through that level. Does that hold now? Right, that's more of the zone from there to there for the previous day lows. There's that push on up. No trades on these accounts. Still being very cautious on the actual good leaders. We did lock ourselves out to the downside on the heaviness that came in. Kind of should have seen it coming. Really, the recovery of back above that lower band of VWAP, back over the overnight low. A lot of confidence through the 500. There's a lot of reasons to take this long, so I'm not mad about the execution. It does appear to be like it wants to go long after it wicks you out the first time, and then it fails it, right? Just the heaviness came in. Even the delta started to fade a little, but it was still pushing in the aggressive direction. We do have 57 lot down at 352. Pop back up 38 lot. It's popping in and out, so understand that might give you a little bit of reaction right where we're at, 52s. Watching that closely. Delta's pushing up now a little bit. It's still kind of in, it's congruent to price. Price is pushing down and Delta's not flushing as heavy as price is. So that's what I watched there. I want to see, you see how heavy price is getting, and Delta's, yes, it's getting heavy, but not as heavy. You can start to see aggressive buyers come in, aggressive buyers come in, price pushing back up. If price makes new highs over this candle here over that 390-ish area and Delta doesn't play along, it doesn't try and push through as well, then you're going to say that there's not as many aggressive buyers stepping in as you see the price is making the reaction. So you're using that Delta divergences, is what I consider them, to your advantage to understand, is this going to go or is it going to hold or are we going to continue on? Like a lot of that is what I use this for. If you start to see Delta push heavier as price is pushing up, there's a good chance that that price is not going to follow through because the aggressive buyer isn't there. But you can see they're acting together right now. There's not a big divergence in price and Delta. Everything's kind of going along the same lines. So if price goes up while Delta stays the same, you expect price to go back down. Sort of. It's not quite. It's not quite that just like simple, I guess. It depends on where I am. Nothing in trading is simple. The only thing simple about it is wait for your levels. Don't do dumb shit, which is not even simple because you could still do dumb shit and keep going. As far as trying to simplify it, I use all the information as a whole to make a very simple choice. If I get NVIDIA to react at a key level that I see is a pretty important level from the previous, few sessions, NVIDIA reacts off that low. On my longer 30-minute chart, I see that we're approaching back the channel that we were kind of trapped in for a little while on the downside. If we kind of retest that breakout, could now, which would be right in line with yesterday's previous day low, could flush through that low and rotate back up. When I get to those areas, then I'm interested in looking at that delta, right? If I get to my zone, I'll look to see, okay, are we flushing? Are we making really heavy lows or are we not? Let's say, okay, so what would be simple for you to see, Scott, is if this got super heavy, right? If price made like another big, strong red candle down, flushed this low, and the delta stayed like up in this range, or it didn't quite even break this previous day low here, right? This low of price up there, if delta's not getting as aggressive, it just shows the aggressiveness of the buyers, right? So if my cumulative delta here is showing that it's not getting super aggressive sellers to come in, as you could see price pushing down, it's not on like shorter term, maybe it's longer term, sellers, but they're not coming in at these levels, right? So you're going to start to see, if we break this low here and delta stays above this low, you're getting what that would be considered a delta divergence, right? You can see it here. It's a good example, right? Price pushed up, delta pushed up, price pushed down, delta also pushed down and broke the low, right? Delta pushed the low as price pushed the low, so they acted together. There's a good chance that the follow through will come in. We got a little bit of like a capitulation push down here, price push down as well, still making new lows in delta while we're making new lows in price. If this is the time that the delta doesn't, when you make that new low, then potentially that's when you say, okay, the sellers are less aggressive here, and then you'll start to look for your long entry. Yeah, pretty much. It just has to be at my key level, right? I'd have to be at the previous day low. I'd have to be down through it, trying to make an aggressive new low and showing that there's an aggressive buyer, right? And then you could start to see either an aggressive buyer or a passive seller that's not quite like hitting it in and trying to be aggressive short. Right now it's 76% long, so I would anticipate that one more push down to come into play potentially. But that's not a guarantee. The majority is sometimes correct. All right. I'm glad everybody was able to make some money today on the good calls. I'm glad you locked out early so we didn't have to deal with this overnight low flush as a team. If you did take it, sorry that you got stopped out on it, but that's how it happens. Sometimes it doesn't play out, right? A 70-something% win rate, you have to take it because 70% of the time it's going to rotate on out. The second touch in the breakdown after grabbing the liquidity over the previous day high, kind of just like thinking about it in hindsight, why price would want to do what it's doing, kind of to just give you a better indication of what you want to do tomorrow with it potentially, or the next time that something like this happens, you want to kind of just reflect on it and see what happened today, right? We opened pretty much at the overnight low, we ticked it, we rotated right back to previous day high, didn't flush it. There was a buyer present here. You go up to the previous day high, you try to get out of the range from yesterday, right? You try to push into new levels. Can't do it once, can't do it twice. Third time, try to do it again, fail it again, rotate through. The accumulation has happened where the people trying to buy out of yesterday's levels are giving up. So now the sellers start to step in to reaccept it into yesterday's range, which is what we're doing right now, right? You could see we're reaccepted back into yesterday's range. You got a wick off high here. You never made that third new high, just not playing along. You could enter in here, rotate it down, and then obviously once you get to that overnight low, it's a decision. Are we going to try again to push back through that previous day high? Or was that a big enough seller to say, okay, once we get through that overnight high, through that overnight low, we're going to continue down, try and push and retest previous day lows. And then when you get down to previous day lows, now, okay, are we willing to get further out? Is there enough information out there to sell us through the previous day low? Is there a reason why this would come back down? Maybe because on pre-market yesterday, basically 6:30 a.m., we had a breakout, which came at around 19,230-ish, we'll call it. So do we reaccept back into where that breakout happened at full, basically 100% retracement on that? Or even, from Tuesday into Wednesday, we rallied from the low all the way up to the liquidity zone, right? So you're going to go do that. Yes, sir. I'll be here 8:30 tomorrow. Same time, same place. Hopefully I'll have the adjusted account balances and we'll be back to trading those 50K 50K XFAs. Today we tried to hammer back into the 100K and got ourselves a little bit extended on it. It's 10 a.m. here, so now that flush is coming in. You can see a little bit of movement at that 10 o'clock. Later, Scotty. Always a pleasure. Welcome to the Tradecaster family. Now that you've made the switch, enjoy it. Looking to see when I get this. Flushing that previous day low. Nvidia flushing that low. Let's see if Delta also trying to make new lows. Kind of all reacting together here. Is there any size on this? Any size here? 52 lot down at 300. So watch that 300 try to be magnetized down. At some point, I will do my best to add in some size, short the high, and let the rotation happen. We're starting to see more follow through, which is great on some of these. Sorry, I'm just trying to check this. So you can see that wick of the previous day low straight through 300, kind of a good area for there to be a rotation. Don't just chase it, right? Wait for the setup. Let something tell you that you're going to rotate out of it. But these are the reactive levels, right? Is it a continuation? It's very heavy, right? We're still pretty heavy. We're trying to see if we can accept now below yesterday's low. Are we going to go all the way down to that breakout point that I mentioned, which is down at 18,230-ish? You know, maybe even deeper into that. Yeah, like 19,230 would make this a full rotation all the way down through that level. So 19,230 makes sense. That's the breakout from the pre-market of Wednesday morning, so like 6 a.m.-ish. This is where people now start to chase longs, trying to pick bottoms. It's a bad idea to try and pick bottoms in this kind of market. This could continue to roll over. Be careful, be cautious, don't do dumb shit, but also at the same time, you start to look for your setup, look for that bounce, look for something to make some sense to you in this maybe being that next little rotate back up. But like I said, it is very heavy, so be cautious on trying to pick out that bottom. You can give it a shot if it's your normal strategy, right? At a previous day low, failed breakout type stuff. If you get a rotation back up, NVIDIA isn't quite bouncing. It's holding below that 113.70, now trying to rotate up a little bit. See if you get a hard flush. See if you get some sort of bigger size. You got big size here at 301, 307, a bigger lot size that got filled. I mentioned that there was that 50-something lot, so that's probably what got filled there, plus or minus a few. Needed a day like this to kind of reset my brain a little on the win streak. We did really great, even in that first trade of the day, and then even trying to call out this short here. I probably should have took it again. You know, that's just in hindsight. You're able to say that and say, oh, wow, I could have caught all this move. I would have never caught this whole move. I don't even want to pretend to you that I would have caught this entire move. I would have got to VWAP, been tight to VWAP, probably got stopped out there. And then, you know, if I didn't get stopped on VWAP, I probably would have got trailed. But we were already up 360 on that move. So 360 there. You know, you catch another 360, you're probably locked out at that point, looking to now just watch and wait and see. I locked myself out down 500. So either or, right? Trying to, you know, going from 360 and then trying to take this bounce a couple times more than I should have. But it is what it is. You know, just reflecting, showing the good and the bad and the ugly. You do have some large size still rolling in here at 270, 280, big size coming in. There's lots of orders being executed right around this area. So it's an interesting spot. Is it heavy? Is it more sellers? You know, it's an aggressive buyer right there. Delta starting to try and creep up again. See if you get back up over 300. If you get back over 300, does that start to squeeze out some of the shorts? But I think that you're getting heavy, and there's a good likelihood that this still rolls. We're now trying to reaccept back into that channel, that downside channel from, you know, that CPI high, right? We attempted to break down through it over here, reaccepted back into it, retested it one more time, rotated back above, broke out. And I mentioned in the weekly write-up, if you do read that, I talk about this gap and how if we try and break above 610 and fail, we could probably rotate right back down and stay in this downward channel until they actually do make a rate cut or whatever they decide to do. If you get back up over that 19,760 area, that's going to be a long idea through all-time highs, right? So this zone obviously acted as a good area for the short right here. I'm talking about this zone right here, this big pink zone. This is what I was talking about for there to be a good bit of reaction for maybe the short idea coming in, or if it rotates up over it, then all-time highs, like pretty much like clockwork. So the fact that we rejected the 610 was a really good reaction. We talked about that really every time we got up over here on this chart right there. We took the short there once, and then I wanted to take it again, didn't, and then ended up not taking it, right? We were up quite a bit. 360, not quite a bit, but enough. Just overall, like I said, this 100K account, I've kind of just managed it a little poorly, and now trying to play catch up on it. Instead of taking that base hit and moving on and setting a good standard for it, we took our $500 loss on it and we locked ourselves out, which is fine. Which was trying to take the long from here on the break above, which was showing strength, right? There was good reason to take it. It wasn't not a good reason to take that trade. Just overdid it a little, and not overdid it. We just hit it and it failed. So sometimes you win on it, sometimes you lose on it, sometimes you lock yourself out. This short idea right here at the top, those were the trades, obviously, of the day for you to kind of just see that liquidity being grabbed, and then just failed to break out. That's our strategy, looking to take that. If I could start to maybe on this 100K, as I build it out of the drawdown, if I can do it, I believe that I can. If I can get this out of this drawdown, start to build it back into the positive territory, this would be the account that I want to try and hold some of these winners a little longer. This would be like the longer hold, bigger win type account. And then just lock myself out on the base hits on the scalp account on the 50Ks. That would be a nice little idea for managing multiple accounts. I've been doing that's one thing I need to adjust. I'd say, I've been making really good strides in my trading journey and doing a lot of really good sticking to my levels. I'm still not doing dumb shit. I'm very happy with sticking to my strategy. I allowed for, days like today, if I were to have done that in the good accounts where I'm not drawn down on. Pretty much when you're in these funded accounts, the ones that go into drawdown, they don't tend to come out. I'm not going to lie to you. They, if you ask anybody who trades on these funded accounts, you could build a buffer, and if you can get that buffer, you're good to go. If you start to pull back and start to draw down too much in these funded accounts, you start to lose the ability to dig out of it. I could always dig out of this account. I'm not saying that I won't, but since I have multiple accounts, I've really focused everything on these 50Ks and focusing on the 50Ks and building and growing that. Yeah, for the most part, I think the funded stuff, it's so difficult to get out of the drawdown in those. That's why with this account, with these two that I'm copy trading, I'm way more content to just allow the base hits to come in. And I'm really sticking like super strict discipline in this account. And then today, being even more disciplined, I got no trades until the payout is confirmed. Right? I journaled that there. But today I took the great trade right early, right? I was done in 30 minutes. That would have been another 360 across two accounts. That's on this account. I was sticking to the strategy. And then everything after that I've found where I don't allow that with that drawdown account. You do a little bit more, you let it ride a little bit more on that drawdown account, and then you go. But you can see this is the 100K because every day is green in the other account. I'll take the good green trades, and then I'll come into here and then take the bad trade. So this is like my bad account. It just, you keep drawing it out. Yeah, it's on these fundeds. It's just all about starting strong and keeping that good discipline and getting through it. You might start seeing this turnaround here. Let's see. This could be where the failed break of the previous day low. Now, we have cleaned up every bit of yesterday's price action. The entire price action from yesterday has been cleaned up. So watch for a rejection of this downtrend, right? We broke out of the downtrend, back into that downtrend area. Look for a rotation back up potentially, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not trading it. I'm just kind of talking you through it. This is part of the strategy. Understanding if it does get back above here and accepts above the previous day low, don't get trapped like I did there, right, on that overnight low. But this is another area. You're not picking bottoms. You're still looking for like a mean reversion, right? You're not looking for giant, big, expansive moves, especially now that you've got this big move to the downside. You're not looking for that huge move. Absolutely, Leezy. Strong start is imperative to success in the accounts. These accounts are definitely different than other types of accounts. And like I said, overall, what I was trying to do on that 100K there is just today was just kind of hammer the levels and see how aggressive I could get to build it. I got aggressive on the short here. I did not take it the second time, and that was probably the spot where the aggressiveness should have come in. And then waiting for that overnight low, we waited for our level to come in. The strategy plays, and sometimes you just lose that. So this is just part of the business of taking a really good setup, really everything about that setup there. Rotation, push down into the level that I wanted to see, push back up, right into it. Started to show a little bit more bullishness, holding above the lower band of VWAP right over here. You can see we had the lower band of VWAP there. We were holding it again. A lot of times we've seen that every time we hold that lower band, if we go back to here, get back to that lower band, you start to see that expansion back to the actual VWAP, right? So it's just little things that you need to kind of see the nuance of, and you take your shots at it, and then there's the percentage of the time that you lose. And that's what today was with that trade specifically. Everything else, the strategy is still absolutely money across that top end on the shorts right here is what you really wanted to see come into play. I'm going to go take a piss quick, and I'll be right back. We are back. Still, like I said, locked out on these accounts. I'm not trading the 50Ks until I see that they pulled my withdrawal. We took 2 withdrawals, one from each account. We pulled out 2,800 for these 2. We pulled them back down to 2,000 apiece. So we are in good shape. That's why I'm not trading the 50Ks today. Just so you are aware, if you have not been on the stream all day, kind of just notating it in the journal here. Top Step does have a great performance center now that they've added little updates here and there to it. If you go on over to your dashboard over here, the performance center, you can see we have still gone straight up to the right. Obviously today in the 50K we did not execute. I click over here, add to the journal, no trades on these accounts until the payouts confirmed. You do see that we have that ability to journal in here. Any day that I don't have trades or any day that I have some stuff that I want to note, I will put in that note, right? Make sure that everything is documented. Today was a great call out. We got a couple people who made really good money on the call outs. They locked out. They were done for the morning. Basically by 9, I'd say 9 o'clock was the time we took that. Where we take that trade, 100K here is, we took that trade at 8:51, and then that second short that we called out happened just after 9. We took 360 on that one, so that would have been done and locked out on that account on the 50Ks. But since I was in drawdown on this one, I did not lock out, and I was trying to do more than I needed to, and we did that. So we took a little bit of a swing the other way. Right now, like I said, kind of just waiting for more opportunity. This was a really good move off that high. Really, really good move off the high, previous day high. Failed that rejection. I talked about the 610 level being very important. Came down through 610, flushed it, retested it, and then down we go. This red line, I did an anchored VWAP to pre-FOMC level. Really didn't play any sort of role in today at all, and I'm going to delete it because I don't find any use for it. I'm trying to see what anchored VWAPs I can throw on there, see what kind of help it has. adding little layers to kind of add a little more confluence. You can see NVIDIA doing that curl from the bottom, right? Flushing that level, that 113. It was a breakout level, a few times. It's been a pretty important zone. So if it gets to hold above that, then the rotation back higher could potentially come in. This could be the area where you do get the break of the previous day low because you failed the breakdown. Now you start to work back up. You want to see if this thing breaks and closes, right? You don't want to just run into it. 76% long, still heavy long. We're running into the lower band of VWAP. Again, still holding that lower band. You want to see some sort of acceptance and hold above here with this kind of huge rundown. This melt of a sell from the top. The sell from the top currently is sitting around 1,600 ticks. That's a nice little short. If you get that extended, do you want to even try and pick a bottom here and rotate off of the previous day low? Because you can see that rejection being a very key level. Have a strong delta push. If the price tries to push down again and then rotate back up, maybe you have an opportunity, right? If you push down again here, flush this low, get some of these people involved in a long, stop out their shorts, dissipate this long to like maybe a 50-50 or even now it's 60%. Stop out some of the longs and then look for the squeeze back above the 310 after that happens, right? So now that's kind of come back in, that first retest in the heavy downtrend, probably a bad idea. Once you get back up over here, looking for some sort of move up to maybe not necessarily that high, but that's the kind of idea that you got to have. 420. 420 makes sense. 420 to 447. 447 was the previous day point of control. You got to consider that to be a pretty good area of interest if you are looking to get back over 300, hold above 300. Now that you've swept through that low, kind of maybe even get lower, then rotate back up. Something along those lines, right? Where price and delta are, delta's acting a little stronger. You're getting a little bit more aggressive buyers coming into this level because it's an area where price stopped yesterday. It pushed right down into here and stopped and then turned around from here. So to think that won't happen again, right? And it was the previous day's high, right? Before that, the day before that, you got the high there. Everything is kind of acting as some sort of support there and then the day before that, you had the overnight high pretty much right there. So this is it's a reactive level. Could be interesting to see where it goes from here if it does break above it this time, right? Does it break back above this wick and squeeze it out and then go right to 43 and then beyond? Or does it trap and then fail, right? This is the thought you have to kind of think through these things as you're working. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. You never get triggered in. If it does go and trap you, like it did up here for me, then you just get stopped out and you move on for your day. For me, I think realistically, if you trade the open to now, you've had your opportunities, you made your money. There's no need to really look for this trade, but I'm just kind of talking you through how I would look through this area being a long as opposed to, or like you're not picking a bottom, you're just playing the failed breakout because technically it could rotate up here and you can still get, you take your money and then it just continues on in that direction. So that's what my thought process is on if this were to be a long to be had or not. To be honest with you, like I said, either way, even if I wasn't locked out from my loss limit for myself, my personal loss limit, I'm locking myself out. It's not the company liquidating me. It's me liquidating me. I would be locked out by now personally, right? Everything that has happened today, for me, the moves happened, my trade, my opportunity happened up here. And then I tried one more shot at it just because I was, a little bit aggressive on that 100K account trying to do more. But, sticking to our base hit early in the day, that first 30 minutes of the day, we took our hit and we got off the charts and we were done, right? That's really where everybody who was in the lobby made their money, did good, and then they were done. They were out for the day. For me, sticking around on the stream maybe led to that as well. I could have locked out there and been done. But like I said, I'm here. I'm making my executions around my levels and seeing what happens. 7 out of 10 times this works. Today it did not. So we're out on it, right? We never got triggered into this. If you were thinking about that, still is valid if it sweeps this low and then the delta doesn't play along. Dissipated that long quite a bit. You can see not quite getting as heavy on delta as you did on price. So price now trying to make new lows. Made a new low here, didn't quite come down and cancel out that delta candle. Also, if it makes a new low below 249 and delta stays up in that range, then potentially that could be that liquidity sweep to rotate you back up. But if the delta catches up and starts to push out heavier, that aggressive seller is stepping back in. This could be a higher low. I think that like I said, we just got to get to a point where there's accepting of liquidity down here in these areas. I like this. Still like it. Right? You can see the aggressive buyer trying to step in. Going over the mentality of it, right? Understanding why that makes a lot of sense there. Nvidia trying to hold that low. Everything about this seems like it wants to go. Like I said, I'm not taking anything on these accounts. Long from 80, 79. Good. That's front running this level basically. If you get to the previous day low, I wouldn't be afraid to see this thing squeeze through that. Like I said, I think if you get through that 310, you get to push up at least to that 43 and then see what happens there. Just based on, I think you're absolutely money right now. It's a risk-free trade for you. And just see where it ends up. I think we've run into the previous day low. We've tried to break it twice. Very similar to the top side. We've found support here at the top end of that channel. If you get stopped out, cool. You made some money. If you don't, if it keeps running, then it keeps running. 10 points. I'll take 10 points. Why not? It's a payout right there. $200. Qualifying day right there for you. You could see the reaction of that level, right? That makes a lot of sense. Going down into the weeds a little here, but like I said, that 30 level really, this area here, this 230, where that breakout ended up happening from, even into that 30 to 60, right? This came up, broke out this whole zone here. That area, I'll even call it like a little bit higher up. If it comes into there, that's where buyers are going to want to see what's going on, right? So we're sitting just above that. That was that area where that breakout happened in the pre-market yesterday. We just kept continuing on. There were buyers present there. Could still be buyers present there right now, right? They were willing to buy there yesterday at 6:30. 6:30-ish. What time? Yeah, they were willing to buy there at 6:30. They were willing to buy there at 7. And now are they willing to buy there again? That's the question, right? If that gives up, then who knows where this market ends up today. Got in at 79. You got out at 89. Nice little quick little win. Take your points and run. Nvidia is still kind of just dancing around, creeping around. We do have Delta making higher lows and actually just ran into not making a higher high there. If it starts to rotate back down, maybe now we start getting heavier. Flat bottom break potentially. If that does wick this low and then rotate up, you could see just the buyers are a little more aggressive than the sellers here. I don't see any big size currently. You know, I see them come on the book, off the book every once in a while. Oh, there was an 80 I saw. It flashed and disappeared. Down lower at 60. The algos are chasing it up. $50 lot down here at 260. It flashes and it disappears. Flashes and disappears. It's trying to get orders to pull this direction. 27. That happens. Let's see if there's decent amount of orders being flashed here down through the low from 260 down all the way to 49. You can see it like gets stacked up on each other. It's very interesting to look at, like the dynamics of it. They come on and then they disappear, and now they're trying to get fill. Let's see what kind of fills we're getting. 14 lots at 84. That was a good trail there, Jofi. You can see how the trail works for you, where you're just taking your little base hit, and then it would have stopped you out anyway for a loss. Why not take your little tiny, piece? And if it starts to squeeze and run, then now you have at least a base of a winner, and you can trail it out as you see fit on your win, right? Like NASDAQ doesn't have to move a ton for you to make pretty good money on a day-to-day basis, right? Now we're squeezing into that purple zone, that breakout box, that support area. You made a new low in price. You made a new low in Delta. No new low in Delta, right? That low came in there. Price is getting heavier. Orders got stacked below. 225, there's a 30 lot. I mean, really, I think a lot of that, a little bit away from it. If you get back over this band of VWAP, over this volume node at 285, 286, there's a low volume low at 290. 290. If it's back above that area, there's lower volume area there that could rotate you back up if it continues to push down. Like I said, Nvidia is now bouncing off a 113.70 area. If it can bounce off a 113.70, start to rotate up again, you start to see this. Maybe this was a sweep of the low to trap some shorts to stop them out at the highs, to either squeeze it up or rotate it back down. So if you do have that, if you're away from levels, and you're still looking to trade, this is an idea of sweeping a low to try and trap shorts to get their stops placed at the highs to trap them and get long. So that's a good area for this idea to still kind of play out. Or if you wanted to cheat it and get long from 51s, you could still be, you're already 10 points in the money on that as well. So you could be at risk-free if you were to have entered on that low sweep hold of this zone, rotate back that direction. It's not part of my A-plus strategy. I'm not executing on it. I wouldn't have executed on it, but it is a good reason to be into the trade idea, because instead of now waiting for the break of the previous day low to retrace back, you're waiting for the retest of it, and you're capitalizing on the buyers that stepped in yesterday. And then you could have easily been 10 points in the money again, and now you're up 10 points. You're below this candle still, and now if you really wanted to hold, you could. Or if you wanted to start trailing every 10 points, maybe you get stopped out, whatever, you take 20, 30, 40 points on a move, and you're still making money on these plays. This is a really good reason, though, here for a longer term idea, if it's not going to follow through to the downside, for this aggressive buyer to break through this high. Now this is that delta. You get above that area, above that lower band of VWAP. We've kind of accumulated. You've gotten stale with the sellers, and this could push you back up over that 310 area. So watch for that to come into play now, right? You can see, grab the liquidity at the buy zone. If you're 10 points in the money and you've secured yourself from 51 to 61, you've gotten yourself now that much risk covered, $200. If it now wicks you out, then whatever, you get wicked out for $200 again. There you go. You're out. If you were in 10 points in the money, if you were at even, you're still in this trade. So it depends on how you manage your risk and how you feel like it's going to go. Because if this is going to break through now, then you may anticipate a heavier flush to come into play. So it's really, is this a sweep of the lows, rotate high, or is this now a trap some shorts, stop them out, and now get even shorter? It's just kind of the dynamic you think of as you approach key zones, key levels, key breakout areas. It doesn't mean that we're totally invalidated yet on that thought process. I mean, like I said, even all the way down into that 225, even down here, 218, 220, this is an area where buyers stepped in yesterday morning. But a lot of the things that I do is I really mitigate my risks by waiting for key level breaks, right? If this is going to be a failed breakdown of that previous day low, if we get back over the previous day low, technically you would expect the buyers to step back in and buy us back up from the previous day low back up to highs. So I don't usually front run this level like, I was talking about, but Jofi did it before here. He had that 89, the 79, trailed out 10 points. Another good way to do it was how we just talked about, right? Where you sweep the low, you enter at that area, you get 10 points in the money, you secure yourself a nice little 10 points. And then if it goes further and actually does what you want it to do, or the thought process behind it, then you can capitalize on a really big move. Otherwise, you took your little piece of it and you move on. And you just stack up the base hits and you end up in really, really good shape. But those are good areas to start to think about that kind of trade idea, right? And if it takes a few days, it usually takes, they say, about 10 days for your payout. Last time it took me from the 19th to the 23rd to get my payout. When I requested it the 19th, I got it the 23rd. And that was over a weekend. Pretty much got it 20, 21, 2 days, 2 business days. Friday to a Monday, Tuesday. But the amounts of payouts that they're getting now, the amounts of volume that they're getting in the back end, I could see a little bit of a delay in some of the payouts, but we'll see what happens. I will update you as the payouts come, as I get everything to kind of update to me. When I get the alert, I will post it. I did request it last night, kind of late. I waited for my accounts to hit, the calculations yesterday to hit. So we did. It was technically, I guess I requested it in today because I requested it last night at 7:45 p.m. So I would anticipate some point today, later on in the day, them getting to my payout request. And then hopefully that'll get our accounts adjusted and we can make trades on this account and back to generating even more money and taking more payouts. Trying to join the 5K club. Very close to that on the payouts world. Bring me my money. Yeah, I would prefer it to them to carry it to me in bags. So if it takes a little bit, just carry me bags of money if that would be the case. I'm just watching their Discord. They have a Discord here that states when they're processing certain payouts for people. Like I said, I requested mine last night at like 7:45, so I would anticipate they do process them every single day. I would guess that they will get to it at the very end of the day when they do get it. I waited till later. Like I said, I waited till that yesterday's profits hit the account so that I can safely withdraw the money that they do owe me. Anybody have any ideas, questions, comments, concerns on kind of what you're looking at here? Like I said, I'm going to get off the stream here shortly. We made a really good call early in the day. The short from the high failed break above the above previous day highs. You are getting aggressive buyers stepping in here. Delta, this is the definition of a delta divergence if I've seen one. Price is making new lows and delta is making new highs. Aggressive buyers continue to step in to this short at this area. It's a 50-50 tilt. We're at that bottom end. Like I said, that 20.19220 could end up rotating out if you wanted to do something like this on your end. This is not something that I take, but if that's something that you're looking to do, I do think that the break of the previous day low gives you a squeeze. Back above the previous day low, I think you can squeeze back up. That would be something that I would be interested in if it does trigger, but it hasn't. So, that's the idea here. If this is going to sweep the low with those delta divergence, if you're really you want to be really risky, you can try and be long from 220, right? If you wanted to be long from here, risking your normal, 10 points, does that make sense to you? I don't take this, but does that make sense in the realm of what we're looking for as far as cheap trade idea? If this cheap trade works here, which it doesn't look like it's going to, if this cheap trade works and it gets up over here and re-accepts back into, you got to find an entry criteria, right? There's not necessarily a reason to enter right that second. But if it does work out where it gets up over here, right? It gets back up over here, you risk your 200, then you get this reward for you. Obviously, it's a heavy market. We're in that kind of just selling through every key level, so it's not working. This is why I don't trade away from my levels. I usually only trade my levels, and that's what's been consistently keeping me within this, up and to the right curve, right? Taking my levels early in the day is usually the key to success. Anything a little bit later, the levels work, but you got to be really careful with directionality, with momentum, with a lot of those things. So I'm trying to play failed breakouts of key levels. And if you can wait for those things to happen, this is the kind of profits that you'll be able to make on a day-to-day basis, month-to-month, week-to-week, right? You're looking for that. Still not anything that I'm willing to execute on. If this was me, I would not be executing it. But it's something that you can think about as far as how your trading is, your thought process behind it. I'm not trying to pick bottoms. I'm looking for rotations through key levels. Like I said, the delta divergence is there. You are getting heavy price action and buyers aggressively stepping in here. This data, the cumulative delta, is everybody, not necessarily just the retail tilt that we see in Top Step. There's a big size, not big, but 50 contracts, 46 contracts at 186. So 186 has a big size sitting on the books. So let's see if it fills at, what did I say, 56, 156. 156. It's not 156, it's 186. And there's now no longer that size there. So 186 might have got filled. Not yet. All right, get out of here. I'll see you tomorrow, Jofi. Good work on the day. I will be back here tomorrow, 8:30 Central Time. As always, making good choices, good decisions around key levels. If you were somebody who is a short and hold kind of person, or taking my levels and using them to your advantage, right? I'm more of a short term, catch a little piece of it, move on with my day. But there is lots of opportunity from our key levels over the last few days, right? The short from previous day high has netted whoever has held and been aggressive to hold quite a bit of money on the day. If you were able to short our levels from there and hold, if you're that good, I mean, nothing has told you to get out. If you are one of those types of trend traders, you're up 10 grand per contract on that move. So not a bad move right there. One contract could net you $10,000 on the day if you are that kind of trader. Like I said, I'm not that trader. I'm not going to pretend that I was going to catch this whole move because I'm not. I'm looking to catch quick, small pieces, capitalize on copy trading, do what I got to do, and move on with my day. I am going to try and maximize the funding. Like I said, I'm still 2 accounts shy of having all 5 that I want to have. The 100K I've dug a little hole into, so maybe I'll start 3 combines, pass all 3, and then work to leverage 5 at a time and just do it that way time and time and time again. And we will be very happy with the results moving forward in these accounts, right? There's a reason why I didn't trade today in these follow the 50Ks. I built the buffer, I took the payout, and I was not I'm living by the don't do dumb shit motto, right? DDDS, live by the motto. Yeah, it's going to react off of every single level. If you start to see these levels, Jofi, over time and time and time and time again, it's going to have reaction. You're going to be able to make money if you can just read the market dynamic, understand what the type of day it's going to be. You know, after the Fed meeting yesterday, you're going to get a sell-off kind of pretty. I mean, there were signs. Not going to lie. I think we're all making really good progress. As if you can just wait for your levels and then execute on them and don't overdo it, right? You're going to be right way more times than you're going to be wrong, right? You're going to be right. The don't do dumb shit mentality is going to really lead you to being correct, 60, 70. I'm 70% win rate here, 68% here, 71% here. I'm living at that 70% win rate. So if I can win 70% of the time, take my levels and just take those base hits, and sometimes you're going to catch bigger pieces of this move. We are intraday scalpers. We're intraday traders. We're trying to make money day in, day out, be as profitable and as consistent on small pieces of moves as possible to be able to take consistent money out of the market. I don't want to be right. Like, I don't want to be I would love to swing trade some of these things and be able to have the capital needed in order to make these really big swings, but I can't right now, right? Also, in prop world, you can't hold overnight. So I'm not looking for these giant moves day in and day out. Do I believe that it's possible to catch the move that we just saw? Absolutely. There are people, I've seen them do it, right? If you can scale this multiple contracts, right? If I had this on with 2, right? If I get my buffer back over 3, 4, 5, yeah, you need wide stops for swings. Absolutely. I mean, unless you, like I said, the way that this could be caught in our strategy dynamic, once you have a big enough buffer in your accounts, if you're copy trading, right? And, let's say you got a $5,000 buffer and you want to do 2 contracts at a time. Or if you want to go down to micros and trade, 10, 15 micros and just shed 5 micros off at a time every time you see something that would tell you to take them off, right? If you got to even right here at 1-to-1, our $200 risk, if I would have got even at 10 points, you never took any heat on it. And then you technically could have just had a risk-free trade the entire way down and then just pulled 1 contract off at a time at at your key levels, and then just trail your stop through the swings, right? As you get to a level, trail it. Now you broke down again. All right, wait for that pullback, wait for that breakdown, trail it again. You're really never taking any heat on a longer term swing trade idea on this, but you do need to have. All right, Max. Come say hi, come say goodbye, come on in. No pushing, get on in here. Everybody, there's room for everybody.
Yeah.
There's room for everybody here. Say hello.
Oh.
Oh, don't yell in everybody's ear. That's too loud. They're on the microphone, dude. You gotta talk quiet.
Number 890.
Hey, you see yourself on the screen? Look over there.
9.
You see yourself? Wave.
Away.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Ears are gone because Mac's yelling in your ear.
Yeah.
You gotta say
Hi,
sorry.
cheaters.
Say sorry, buddy. All right. All good. We're out. We're done.
Bye.
Everybody's leaving for the day anyway.
And also,
So
Dad, do you want to go to the walk?
go for a walk. We could go for a walk before I go to work. Sure. Let's do it. Max has a few years. Enz is probably a couple years ahead of him, but we're gonna get it going. We're gonna get these guys on the charts. I'm making all the mistakes now so that I can teach them when they get a little bit bigger to make their money and go. You can see this aggressive buyer really stepping in here, and price is not following through. So the grind to the downside continues. That's what I look for in delta divergences. But with this just being such a heavy market, I think they're just picking off those bottom pickers, and they're just going to continue to sell this off for the time being. Who knows how deep it goes. Really nice pullback off that zone. Oops, that's the wrong one. So you can see it there. Future of future. Oops, that's the wrong count. That's the one I wanted to see. What is going on here? Russell, there we go. Sorry. Yeah, so you can see that reaction off that zone that I mentioned up here. Bearish below 610, bullish above 760. Clearly we broke down, retested it, and that's the short idea that we had for the day. Trying to catch as much of the little piece as possible. Don't be saying that it moved, I should have caught the whole thing. It's very unlikely that you were going to do it. So don't get into the habit of thinking that that's, an everyday you can do this. I mean, you definitely can. You can make these moves, but we only need small pieces of this to make really good money and have a good lifestyle for it. So, like I said, I am looking to get these payouts all done, all cleared up. And then once that's all done, then we can start executing again back on these accounts and continuing our journey to remaining in these accounts as long as possible, trying to keep that winning streak alive, right? Today we made that two really good calls up here at the top. You can see how reactive our levels are. The levels work time and time again. You just have to understand how to use them yourself, figure out how you're going to do it, and work on that. Like I said, when the payouts actually get approved, I'll let you guys know. It's usually pretty quick. They do it daily. I'm not going to be too concerned. I had every qualifying reason to do it. I just want to get it out of this account so I can get back to trading and doing it the way I want to do it, and not just, kind of playing defense on this. So I'm just going to be waiting, being patient, letting everything kind of play out on this account, on these 50Ks. I'm going to not going to lock them out, but in case that does happen later. But you can see no executions on them, sticking to my plan. In our journal, you can see here also, it'll say no trades. Daily win percentage, no trades. I had that one on the 50K. On the 100K, we did well on it. And then I tried to catch that rotation off the overnight low on the 100K and decided to lock myself out on my personal loss limit. So that's fine. That's just discipline. You can see we journal. We added any yellow day you see, we added that we do not trade on these accounts because the payout has not been confirmed yet. I know it will be. I know they pay. Any days that we have no trades, we have our notes. We have an understanding of why we have what we have. Just try and stick to that. You don't have to, I think people overdo you need to journal every single thing that you do at all times. I think you need to just understand what makes you a good trader, what you need to reflect on maybe on a day-to-day basis. I can look at this and say, it's an automatic journal. It's doing what it's doing. It's keeping track of my stats. It's letting me know, what times a day I'm trading my best. My hold times seem to be, my best trade happens between 1 and 2 minutes, right? My win rate between 1 and 2 minutes is 100%. anything between two. If I hold longer than 5 minutes, I seem to lose for some reason. So maybe that's just an oddity. Today, if I would have had something holding for 4 hours, for 2 hours, then potentially that's 100% win rate too, because that's what that is. But like kind of just going through your data, but more so journaling your ideas, right? Like journaling, if you really want to, you can journal, what your setups are going to be for that day, what you're looking into. My idea of journaling is if I'm not going to trade, stick to that idea and say, okay, this is what happened today. I didn't trade because the payout isn't confirmed yet. Good. Tomorrow, hopefully we'll see a nice little green day because we'll have execution. But if there's no way to execute on this day, then that's fine, right? I'm not worried about it because I can just add my note and I'll say, okay, why didn't I execute on the second? Well, because I didn't get my payout yet, and I'm not willing to risk them denying it or processing it or whatever for that, right? So that's my thought on it. Hopefully you guys understand that. Journaling, if you want to go into there and add notes, it doesn't have to be anything big. It just could be, overtraded or did good with executing at my levels, didn't trade other levels, don't do dumb shit, right? Adding all those little layers into your journaling. And then for me, like I said, I only really add notes for days that I need to. If I feel like shit, or if I did something stupid, or if I'm not doing any trades, the reason why there's no trades, did I sit on my hands? Did I do things right? Or did I not come up to the screen? All the things that are going to lead to more success. Straight down in the NASDAQ for the day. Like I said, all done for the day. I'll be back on here 8:30 tomorrow morning. As always, same time, same place. Understanding that our levels will work pretty early in the session. If they are coming into play that early, we're either going to let them play the breakout or we're going to play our fade and get our money and get done, lock out on the day. Pretty much everybody is green except for me on the day, so that's good. I'm glad to be able to provide the value, tell you about your lockout button, keep hammering it, because when you get into a trend like this is when people start to burn and lock themselves out and hit max loss limit. So use that lockout button to your advantage when you start to see signs of pressure or start to see signs where, maybe you made the right kind of trade, made the money on the day, and you're done. So until tomorrow, like I said, 8:30 Central. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up on Instagram. Leezy, I saw your post. Thank you, sir. I got work today, so we're going to go ahead and cut it early. Make sure we get everything done before we get out there, and I will see you back on the charts tomorrow for Friday, August 2nd. See what kind of move the non-farm will bring us in the morning. So 7:30 a.m. is the non-farm number, Central Time. I don't trade it, but just notate what happens on that release, see what comes out of that number, and then maybe we'll get some really good levels come tomorrow and be able to execute and capitalize that on a Friday. So until tomorrow, let's go. Peace out.